And hello, everybody, all out there in TV land and in internet land on the World Wide Web tuning in to us tonight. Looks your TV screen is not messed up there. Your
Uh,
computer screen is not messed
uh,
up.
uh.
Nobody, me, me, and the great Charlie Platt on with y'all tonight. Our two other uh,
What?
guys that
What? Uh,
was what would you call them?
well,
They're
I'm glad you called me and let me know what was going on. I, was- I didn't have any help today, and I was tired. I wasn't gonna come on tonight.
yeah.
But you got the inside over there. And when did you learn that it's just gonna be me and you?
I learned. Let's see, what time is it now? It's 8 o'clock now. I learned at about 6:30 it was going to be me and you.
Okay.
That was dropped on me, and that's okay because
Yeah.
our two dynamic duo are government employees, and they work for the government. I think sometimes I don't know. Sometimes they work for the federal government or just the county government. They act like they federal government employees because he told me Marvin called me tonight, and it's never no big problem. Never any problem. He said,
Uh,
we ain't gonna be on tonight. We got to be we in a high level government meeting here at City Hall in Colquitt, Georgia. And I said, well, who all's gonna be there at the high level meeting tonight? He said, top men.
ooh. Now,
Ooh, I think I'll
say
steal
say it
that
one
from
more. Say it one more time, Floyd.
top men. That's who's going to be there at the meeting tonight. They're bureaucrats. I ain't nothing but bureaucrats. They pushing pencils around. They shuffling papers around. They doing this. They doing that. They glad handing one another. They get up, go get them some coffee, and take them a break. All this, go outside, talk on the cell phone, do all that kind of stuff. But we with y'all tonight. Hey, me and Charlie's done this before. Hey, we've been down this trail before. This ain't no trail that we ain't been on. I'm broadcasting to y'all live from Flamingo Boulevard in the old original Garden of Eden, Colquitt, Georgia. And Charlie's coming to y'all live from the turn number 3 at the old Rocket Speedway in Dothan, Alabama. Many memories were made at the Rocket Speedway. We'll never forget going there. It was me and Nadine was courting, and we would go to the car races at the Rocket Speedway. Some of our friends that would go with us. Frog Wheels, if you will, one of them, Curtis Frank, and their dates. They never did have anybody that they courted regular, so you never did know who was going, be going to the speedway with them. We had a big time over there at the Rocket Speedway. Always had a big time because we always had a big time. Didn't matter where we was at. Wherever we gathered up, there was going to be a big time going on. But, ladies and gentlemen, as Marvin always does, he always comes on to y'all with the big screen, watching the first time on the big screen. Well, let me tell you about it. This fella called me. He called me this afternoon, and he called me and said, "Floyd said I tried to get Marvin to put me on tonight on the big screen. Said I watch y'all every Thursday night. I watch y'all, and I've been trying to get Marvin to put me on the big screen, advertisement in there so I can get some exposure to my business." And he said he just put me on hold, and I don't never hear nothing back out of it. But anyway, I listened to him, and he had a good story. He says he is he's trying to get him up some money, needs a little money, and he wants some exposure. And I said, okay. I said, go ahead and tell me who this is, and tell me about your businesses. What kind of business you got over there that you want some exposure that the Dirt Road Sports and Charlie Platt can talk about? He said, well, my name is Theotis. And I said, Theotis, I said, do you know Leotis? He said, yeah. I said, Leotis, my cousin over there in Coughlin. He said, Leotis the one that turned me on to y'all. He was talking about y'all with the TV show and all that. He said, he's the one that turned me on to y'all. I've been trying to call Marvin, and Marvin won't talk to him, put me on hold. Always put me on hold. Or he got the phone going, you can't get through to him. Anyway, he says, Theotis. I said, well, tell me about your business, Theotis. He went to calling everything off about what kind of businesses he's got over there and where he's at. And I said, okay, Theotis, I said, tell me about your deal. So I wrote everything down, what he told me. And this is Theotis. This is Theotis's. Theotis on the 36-inch flat screen TV tonight. Theodis ain't on the 105 inch like Marvin always. That's the reason why Marvin didn't want to talk to him. He wasn't technologically advanced enough for Marvin to talk to him. Theodis on the 36-inch flat screen. Theodis's Polaroid camera repair. 35 millimeter film development. Slide projector rentals. Cursive writing classes. Shoe shine stand franchise and Tupperware parties in Tubbleton, Alabama.
Well, now,
So I told Theo, I said, yeah, I said, Theo, I said, he said, he went on, he said, oh, Floyd, I said, you don't understand. He said, I got to have some money. I need some money. He said, my payments is due. My payments is due. Oh, had to rent the whole place on my 36-inch TV and my
uh-oh.
six and my 6-piece modular sectional sofa with ottoman. So
Well,
I got to have some business. So if y'all need to open around Tumbleton there, if you need any of this fine stuff, if you need a Polaroid camera repair, 35 millimeter film developed, slide projector rentals, cursive writing classes, shoe shine stand franchise, or a Tupperware party, call Theodis. Go by and see him and do some business with him.
oh, boy, oh,
See, we
boy.
out for the little man. See, we out for the little
Yeah,
man. We don't. Me and Charlie know what it's like. We know what it's like to root hog.
what you
And,
talking
and
about?
Marvin and Queasel don't know nothing about that. There's big money with them all the way. Government money coming in, church money coming in, all kind of money coming in from every which way. And me and Charlie, we for the little man. So that's
I,
why I want to talk about Theodis' business tonight. Go
I,
help him
I
out.
wish him the best, but that's mm,
He got some product that's going to be hard to move with, like Charlie.
the 35 millimeter developing and the Polaroid camera repair. I
I
think
know.
will be the first two things that might be a problem. Now, take for granted, everybody loves a Tupperware party, but I read the
Yeah.
other day where Tupperware ain't doing no business and they liable to go under.
Well, see, I know it, and they hang it by a thread. And see, you need to help people out like that.
Yes,
See, you need
sir.
to throw them a lifeline, and you got to throw your brother a lifeline. You ain't in this world by yourself. You
No,
can't. Everybody can't be like Marvin and Queen. They can't be on top. Everybody can't be on top. You got people down there that's scrambling, that's scuffling, and that's who we fought. That's who me and Charlie. That's whose side we on.
gonna stay on that side too.
Don't stay on that side. That's the working folks, man.
Let me tell you some good things that's happening over here, Floyd, before we go any further.
Yeah.
Our legislature up is in Montgomery doing business, and they're creating quite a little stir up there with the disenfranchised, just Democrats in general. And what they're wanting to do, it's very simple. It's if you are a male at birth, you will not be able to compete in any sport against one who is a female created at birth.
Come on.
Now, you know, and they're also trying, and let me say this, and it might get me in trouble with some folks, but I really don't give a rat's rear end. They had a group of LGBTQ alphabet folks on there protesting on the news the other night because they're also trying to get a bill passed that would ban your cross dressers, drag queens, if you will,
Hmm.
from performing where children are present.
Hmm.
Oh, that
Oh, that's a big problem. No,
First
you can't do that.
Amendment
No,
has,
no.
whoa, they're just, and let me tell you something. The only thing I would do with one of them fools, two or three little fools I saw dressed up, is maybe have them stuffed and use them as scarecrows in the corn patch.
Hmm.
I just, I don't get where all these folks are going with this stuff, but I'm just proud that the legislature in Montgomery for trying to make some of the moves that they're just common sense stuff. You know, it goes back to this. I said this years ago. If I had a daughter and she was 16 or 17 or 13 or 12 and went to a restroom that said ladies or women, whichever the terminology they used, and some pervert blankety blank walked in there, if he got out of there, he would be dead.
Yeah, feet first.
Feet first is the only way he'd come out. And we're just we're letting these folks run over us. And it's time to say, we don't care about, you know, you can do what you want to do, and free speech to tell anybody of your friends you want to tell. But we hadn't got to be exposed to it.
No,
Now,
no, don't. Wait a
our
minute.
children especially.
Well, that's what it is. They're after the children. See, they can't get me and you. They know we're not gettable.
No.
They can't touch us. But they get the children, and they're heroes or people like that right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's their heroes right there.
Woo.
That's their hero. Miss Feinstein. She's dead. I mean, she's a cadaver now. But anyway, she's back in Washington D.C. They still wheeling her around in a wheelchair. But that's who their heroes
Yeah.
are. They worship at the altar of dysfunction.
Yeah.
And I've heard some of them say. I've heard some of these Democrats say that. Well, there ain't no such thing as Democrat. Don't say you're a Democrat, and don't say you're a socialist, because there's no such thing. You're a communist if you believe in this stuff. You'll follow. You'll do whatever they tell you to do. Say, oh, abortion is just a one issue. No, it's not. It's not a one issue thing. It's who they are. It's who they are morally. It's who they are spiritually. It's who they are to the core. So don't say it's just a one issue thing, because it's not. But it's and we've had these conversations before with these people that pretending to be women that are men. I saw a deal. Y'all check it out on the Adidas. Y'all know what Adidas is, that clothing line. High dollar clothing line. All that
Yeah.
stuff costs money. Adidas. They got him a man, and he's man. He's got his Johnson, because you can see it down there in this little pouch thing down there. He's a man. He's modeling a woman's one-piece bathing suit. Now they think that for some reason or other, these people, these big outfits, think that men prancing around in a woman's bathing suit is going to sell another. It's going to cause another woman to real woman to buy one of them bathing suits. I don't understand that. I can't understand what that mentality is. And I'm talking about these billion-dollar companies. Adidas is not. It's not a fly-by-night company.
No.
They've been around a long time, selling them high-priced tennis shoes to all them folks that wear them things. They give them all them big endorsements. All these athletes and these stars and these musicians give them big money just to wear the tennis shoes around. So now they've got him a man parading around in a woman's bathing suit. He's a little skinny man. He's a little old punk. But he's got his equipment, still got his equipment, because it's visible, and modeling women's bathing suits, one-piece bathing suits that they're gonna sell. I guess. I don't understand it. I can't understand how anybody's mind get that dissolved, that distorted. But we're at that point, where that's happening, and I don't know what to do about it. Nothing I can do about it. There ain't a thing in the world I can do about it.
Now here,
Talk about it.
yeah, and all kind of things are going on that most of us hadn't been paying attention to, and just one other thing they're trying to do, the legislature, is pass a bill to prevent Chinese from buying and owning property in the state of Alabama.
They need to.
Exactly.
They're up to no good. They're up to no good.
But they had a bunch of Chinese doctors and nurses from a hospital protesting. Oh, no, we can't do that, can't do that, can't do that. I don't think they're protesting doctors and things like that, but I mean, could keep them from.
Could be. Because they want to buy them a place. I guarantee you, they don't want to go back to China.
No.
They don't want to go back to China.
No.
They don't want to move back there. They trying their best to get out of there. It's like we got a Chinese restaurant here in Concord. Hard-working people, a husband and wife, 2 children. Both of the children, little girl, both of them are on honor roll. They're just super smart. They work all the time. I'll go in there and buy me a plate, and they'll be doing their homework. They'll be in there studying. Those little girls will. Husband will be working. The wife will be working. Anyway, I had some Chinese money. I had some Chinese money come in my possession. So I went in there. And I like to prank with folks. I like interact with people. So I got me a plate and I pulled out one of them Chinese dollars. I didn't know how much what the denomination was. It could have been $50 for all I know. He said, "Oh no, not Chinese, not Chinese, no, American dollar, American dollar." And I said, So I understand. I understand. I said, y'all earned every penny that you make. Y'all earned it. I'm
You're
trying to
right.
tell you, y'all. And as a matter of fact, I was in there not long ago, and the little girls were over there. They were snapping snap beans, had some fresh snap beans. They were snapping them uh, for the restaurant while doing their homework. I mean, that's the ethic. That's the work ethic because they've been there. They've lived through that. They escaped that, and that's what these fools over here, these idiots over here, these stupid Democrats over here are trying to make this country into the country that all of those people are leaving. They're leaving for a reason. They're leaving because they are oppressed. It's the same reason that people came over on ships and landed on this continent and started hewing their way through the forest to the other side of the country and developing this country because they were oppressed. They were starving to death. They couldn't worship how they wanted to worship. They couldn't worship a true and living God. They had to worship what the king told them to worship. They were taxed into oblivion. And they came to this country and developed this country. And from that, this is where we are. This is where we've wound up. Now, all of these other people, they're leaving the countries, coming here, but they are not bringing the work ethic and the incentive to be productive people here. They're not bringing. They're coming here because Uncle Sam's got that right there. He's got the printing press running. I was reading yesterday, New York City. Absolutely, New York City. Me and Karen went to New York City. I can't remember when we went, back in mid 2000, 2005, 2006, 7, somewhere along in there. I had a fabulous time. We went up there. She was going to some meetings up there, and I had the day to myself. We stayed up there 4 or 5 days. I loved New York City. This was back right after 9/11. It was after Giuliani had just gone out. So New York City was at its peak, you understand. Man, I rode the bus. I went there with those double-decker buses. I went to the delicatessen. I got me some sandwiches. I got me some of them deli sandwiches that are just absolutely fantastic. I didn't walk, but I rode the elevator to the top of the Empire State Building. And this is a little poor country boy from Miller County, Georgia. Been to New York City. You couldn't pay me to go to New York City now. New York City now is reading. I'm just reading today. New York City. Over half of the hotel rooms in New York City is filled with illegal aliens. Now, if any of y'all dumb enough to want to go to New York City, spend your money to go on a trip up there, you've lost your mind. You've lost your mind because you're going to be staying in a hotel that's filled with illegal aliens who can't speak your language, don't understand your culture,
Nope.
have no respect for your country, no respect for your laws, and no respect for you. So if y'all want to waste your money, go to New York City. But from a great city like it was right after Rudy Giuliani, this was after 9/11 because the Twin Towers, they had cleaned them up, but there was a hole there. It was still booming. I think Bloomberg might have been mayor at that time. He had some sense then, but he didn't have as much sense as Giuliani did. But anyway, what you got, Nadine? Flash flood warning for Colquitt, Georgia.
Whoa. You know,
She just is that she just hey, I wouldn't doubt it. They some weather around somewhere. The flash flood warning. Nadine just handed me the right off the teletype. Flash flood warning for Concord, Georgia. Anything else, Nadine?
Well, the Tallahassee news said it was Colquitt County.
Concord County. That's gonna be
okay.
where it's at.
Hey, Floyd,
Now,
Yeah.
then on the map,
Hold on,
it
hold
showed
on, Marvin.
it's Colquitt, Georgia.
Okay. What you got,
I
Marvin?
just wanted to jump in a minute. I'm in a conclave, a big conclave.
Hold on. Yeah, we
Just wanted to,
top men.
I just wanted to report to you that Queasel is up on the high dive with a Harley Davidson revving it up.
I know he is. I don't doubt it.
I'll be
Yeah.
back.
What's he got with him?
I'll be back shortly.
All right. I'll check in with you. But anyway, a flash flood for Colquitt, Georgia. One report Colquitt, Georgia. One report Colquitt County. But thank you, Nadine. I appreciate that, Donna. She keep right. That's right off the teletype, right there, ladies and gentlemen. But New York City used to be a great city. Now it is a third world Shiite hole, if you will. And you get a man that's protecting women on a subway from a lunatic that wants to kill them.
Amen.
He's protecting them, and guess where he's at? He's in jail being held for voluntary manslaughter, which is right up there with murder, because he was trying to protect innocent bystanders on a subway. Innocent women, is basically who it was. But that's what New York City has become. And, it's the New York City. That's the crown jewel of the United States of America. You hear them talking. You get him on there. You watch your mayor on there. Watch your New York City mayor. Man, he's all pimped up with his suit and his tie bar and his starched shirt and his pocket square. Got cuff links on. He's a dude that knows nothing about running anything except his mouth. I don't talked out, Charlie. You take it a while. Tell us what's on your mind.
Well, we talked about this before, and I want you to think about while I'm making this little speech here, what Reverend Johnson would think about this. But we've been talking about the media throws us these curveballs. Number one, they all for these poor liberal folks that are just so downtrodden and mistreated and everything else. They throw curves at us to get us looking at something that takes our eyes off of what we need to have our eyes on. Can I get an amen from you, Floyd?
Amen, brother. You're right. Oh yeah, they know the game, baby.
And the government is in part of it. Like tonight, our two friends, government employees, if you will, are at a big conclave. And look at here, we need Marvin tonight more than anything we've had in a while, because these news stories have been going back for a while, but I'm going to let you have one here that happened the 23rd of April, which was just, about a month ago. The Euphrates River. Does that ring a bell with you, Floyd?
Yes, sir. That's biblical.
That's biblical. Now, folks, I'm not a preacher, don't claim to be a preacher, but there are things happening that you need to pay attention to. Euphrates River has gone dry in some places. One of the signs of the last days is the Euphrates River going dry.
Read the book.
But how many times have you heard Miss Sweetie Pie on station ABCD say Euphrates River is running dry? How many times have you heard the folks on the Weather Channel that's supposed to keep us all informed about what's going on with our environment and our climate change? That's what they're blaming it on. River going dry called climate change.
Climate change. Climate's always changed. It's been changing since the beginning of time.
Read the book that says Holy Bible and look up the Euphrates River in the final days. And what are we talking about? We're talking about men wanting to be women and women wanting to be men.
Amen. I tell you what, Charlie, let's pay a few bills right now, but let's talk about some of our fine sponsors. We don't have the pictures to put up tonight. We don't have our guy that's in the sound booth to put our pictures up tonight. The guy that's in charge of that. We don't have that, so I don't know what's going to happen with our sponsors. They may want some money back, Charlie, if you will.
Yeah.
And I won't blame them if they do, because we can't deliver what we said we were going to deliver, but we're going to talk about them anyway. First one I want to talk about is Ziggy B's Seafood. Ziggy B's Seafood Market, steamer, oyster bar, seafood market, the best seafood market I know of anywhere around in this part of the country, where you can get some good fresh seafood. You can get catfish, you can get mullet, you can get salmon, you can get shrimp, you can get scallops, you can get crawfish, you can get steaks, you can get souse, You get whatever you want in there to eat that's good and fresh, and you can take it home and cook it any way you want to cook it. And if you don't feel like cooking it, go in there and buy you some shrimp, and Miss Ansley Bracewell will steam them shrimp for you. Ziggy B's Seafood in Colquitt, Georgia, over there on West Main Street, going right out of Colquitt, right next to that gigantic Ford dealership, right across the road from Colquitt Pharmacy, right in the back lot back there behind Hardy's hamburger joint. Go in there and see Ziggy B. See Miss Ansley. She got all kind of good stuff. She'll tell you how to cook it. She'll tell you how to fix it. She'll tell you how much you need per person. You just go in there and see her at Ziggy B's Seafood in Colquitt, Georgia, and you will not be disappointed.
No, sir.
Tell us about busting barbecue.
Bustin' Barbecue coming soon to the old Kmart building, shopping center over in Bainbridge, Georgia. Also going to open up right up the road from us in T. Roy Town, Alabama. But
Heard that.
right now, you can check them out on their Facebook page and find out exactly where they'll be this weekend, because they'll be somewhere cooking that fine barbecue. We're talking about some of the best fall off the bone ribs you'll ever put in your mouth. Great side dishes to go along with it. Pulled pork barbecue. They do it the old fashioned way with their recipe, their special touch with their special sauce. And some of the sides, I mentioned this several times before, but I got to get over there and get me some of the ribs. Take them, just pull them off the bone, make you a sandwich, and put some of that coleslaw on a rib sandwich.
Come on.
They need to put it on the menu when they get. They're gonna be in Troy soon, opening up soon in Troy, and also in Bainbridge, Georgia. But check them out. They may be near you this weekend, and you wanna make sure you're there and get some of that great barbecue. You might even wanna do like I did. You get you a slab of ribs and
Yeah.
a big side or two to go along with it, because you can, man, tell you what you can do. You can put it in the refrigerator and hold it. And Memorial Day weekend coming up, you ain't even got a fire to grill. It might be. Look at the weather we have. Might be lightning flashing everywhere about the time you get ready to cook on Memorial Day weekend. Just let Bussin' Barbecue crew do it for you, Floyd.
Amen, bro. Amen. You're a good place. Talk about them ribs, cooking them ribs outside and all on you. Some of you folks out there got real grills. Y'all got real grills, charcoal grill, which is fine. That's what I have, because I ain't got sense enough to run one of them other grills. Some of y'all folks have got what I call the rabbit pellet grill. Let me tell you where you can get one of them good grills at. I know some of you folks like that stuff like that, and that's great. That's wonderful. That's a great invention, but I ain't smart enough to run it. I do the old, but anyway, Queasel's a big fan of it. Queasel and Miss Queasel got one. Queasel don't cook on it because he don't know how to start the fire on the thing either. But Miss Queasel does. She can get out there and cook on it. One of them rabbit pellet grills down there at Phillips Auto Parts in Colquitt, Georgia, right on Highway 27, going south, right out of Colquitt. Been in business forever there. Mr. Master and Miss Pat Phillips, they ran that business for years. A very, very good, honest business. It changed hands. It's still the same. They still use the same principles that they had. They still give you an honest, give you a good part at an honest price. Whatever tractor parts, tractor oil, tractor hydraulic oil, motor oil, filters, whatever you need. If you need your windshield wipers changed out, go by down there and see them buy you a pair of windshield wipers. And I just about imagine they'll come out there and put them on the car for you. Go down there. It's hometown folks, man. It's hometown folks doing hometown business. Phillips Auto Parts in Colquitt, Georgia, an institution, been into auto parts. Phillips Auto Parts has been in auto parts business for as long as I can remember. Good, honest folks, still good, honest folks. And before long, they're going to open up that Holster 9. It's going to be your gun store in there. It's going to be gun repair, gun shop, ammunition. Y'all better get ready. Y'all better get ready to exercise your Second Amendment rights, because it's coming. So y'all get loaded up, get locked and loaded, and get ready to go down there at the Holster 9 and Phillips Auto Parts in Colquitt, Georgia. And another good fine sponsor that we have that ain't going to be able to be on tonight on account of Marvin's gone to the executive meeting with the bureaucrats pushing papers
Mm.
is Southern Hissy Fit store in Colquitt, Georgia, on the square,
Look
on
at
the
look at look at
southwest corner of the square. That's it, man. They do it all right there. They make them cups like that, like you won't believe. Look at what they made for my business right there. Look
yeah.
at that. Look at that. Ag appraisal. They done all that for me. I told them what I wanted. They went in there and made me a bunch of cups. And I gave them to all my good customers out there. They do in business. They'll do anything you want, make you any kind of cup you want to make, any kind of tumbler you want to make, any kind of coffee cup, any kind of t-shirt, jacket, umbrella, pocketbook, whatever you want. Y'all go see them at the Southern Hissy Fit. Some of the finest folks you ever seen in your life running that place. Tell them what you want. It's personal service. It's Colquitt, Georgia. One of the best places in the world to come and shop. Y'all do business with our sponsors. If it wasn't for them, we'd have to talk more. So y'all just remember that. See, if it wasn't for our good customers, we'd have to, me and Charlie and Queasel and Marvin would have to talk more. And me and Charlie's we talked a pretty good while about some things, but y'all remember my old buddy that was on not long ago, Dr. Ted Airy? That was the guy that had
Yeah.
wrote the book on fried chicken and something about churched in the South. Hellfire, brimstone, and fried chicken growing up churched in the South. Well, I talked to him today, and it's amazing, after he was on our show, how his business with writing his book it just burst. I mean, it just went wide open. He said he had to hire 2 extra people just to keep up with the orders to ship the books out to people that were calling in wanting to buy the book. And I said, I did, and I love Ted's a great guy. So I told him, I said, I'm gonna call you tonight. I said, Marvin and Queasel can't be on. I said, I'd like to have you come on, like you and I. We'll talk about it. And I'm gonna talk to him a little bit. He married a girl from Miller County, Georgia. Actually married a girl from Miller County, Georgia. Never had been to Colquitt, Georgia before in his life. I told y'all the first time I ever saw him, he had on he drove up in a red Corvette and had a man wearing a pair of red cowboy boots. That's the first time I saw him. But he married a girl from Colquitt, Georgia. Done well. He's a great guy, one of the best friends I ever had in my life. But I'm going to call Ted. And we're going to try this deal, Charlie, on the deal. I'm going to put him on speakerphone. I'm going to let him talk. And I'm going to ask him, I'm going to get him to explain some things to me. I'm always interested in what he's got to say. He's always got a good story, if I might.
Go right ahead.
Let's try it. Let's see if we can get Ted on the phone here. Ted Airy, first time I ever saw him, he was in Swamp Gravy. He came up this Ted Airy.
This is he speaking in Peachtree Corners, Georgia, where the children are well behaved, the women are beautiful, and the men are employed.
Peachtree where? And where is that in Peachtree?
That's
Where?
north of it, a few miles north of the beautiful city of
Can
Atlanta.
you hear him, Charlie?
Whoa. Excuse me. Whoa. I think
hit a snap.
beautiful city of Atlanta. Explain that, please.
No, well, it's north enough to be beautiful.
It's north enough. He's out of the downtown cultural district, if you will.
That's right.
But I was telling them, Ted, a little bit about mine and your experience. The first time I ever saw you, you pulled up in a red Corvette and had on a pair of red cowboy boots. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. They accused me of being an interloper brought in by Richard Gere.
Well, I'm by the director for Swamp Gravy from Chicago, Illinois,
right.
if you will.
And all I was just a little volunteer.
He wanted to make a big, but who pulls up in a red Corvette with a pair of red cowboy boots on?
Well, I'd already been. I tell you who does. Somebody gets heckled in Damascus. I pulled over to get a pack of gum in Damascus and got hollered at and heckled, and I thought I was going to actually get beat up.
Well, Damascus was not a good place to stop. I'll go ahead and tell you right now. It's not a good place for somebody like you to stop and try to do business. That's not true. But anyway, I was telling him about you had married a woman from Colquitt, Georgia. And as a matter of fact, I got to recollecting, Ted. I was at your wedding. Do you remember that? Do you remember?
Yeah,
you don't remember me,
of
course. You don't remember
Miss
me.
Nadine was singing at my
She
wedding.
sung at your and your beautiful bride's wedding because Nadine used to do that. She was a wedding singer. She could go around it. She was good, and she could bear it down. She could lay it down.
She laid it down. She hit all the notes right too.
Yeah, and one thing I remember about that, I can't remember. Yeah, y'all got married at Thompsontown Free Will Baptist Church. That's right down the road from where Queasel lives. But Thompsontown, old church, old established church. I used to go there years ago myself, visiting. We'd have association meetings and things like that, and we would visit. They'd have homecoming, and we'd go to their church.
That's right. They
back
had
and
an
forth.
occasional foot washing.
You had foot washing there. Yes, sir. Foot washing was prevalent, and serving of the elements was prevalent. No wine, but grape juice. Grape juice. Welch's good grape juice
right. No
was served
wine.
there.
That's right.
But I just wonder how when you first came to Miller County and courting your wife, and y'all had made the decision to marry and everything, and with her mother and father, were you well received, or with open arms, or was it?
You've always got skepticism of a possible son-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
They want to know about your background. Who's your mama?
Mm-hmm.
Who's your daddy?
Mm-hmm. Did they ask if you had any kinfolks in Miller County?
No, they knew I didn't. I think
they knew that. They wouldn't no need asking that question.
That's right. And once they found out I was from the country, out around Berlin and Reedy Creek, Colquitt County, mm-hmm. They relaxed a little bit.
Yeah, they let the guard down on you. That's the only way you got in. And I hope you know that. I hope you realize. But I remember I was at that wedding, and it was in the summertime, if I remember correctly. And
yes.
Hot, man, it was hot in that church. I was sitting back there sweating. I said, "My goodness, what in the world?" I know surely they got air conditioning in here. Somebody must not have changed the filter. What happened when the church was so hot?
Yeah, this now it took until the last minute of the last word was said, but somebody come and announced that someone had cut on the heat. I mean, turn up the heat.
Who was in charge of the air conditioning? I wonder at that time.
What, that never befalls the wedding planner. Oh, that is one thing they should have. You just that's one of those incidentals. You don't think about it.
It's automatic. You think it's automatic? Somebody you would think.
Yeah.
That somebody, as sophisticated as everybody was at Thompsontown Free Will Baptist Church.
There was sweat on every photograph taken by John's photography out of Miller County.
John Powell. He was a great one.
John Powell,
yeah, everybody knows. Everybody used. He took me and Nadine's pictures there. But anyway, I was just wondering. You started off, in the hot spot there at the church.
Pretty much stayed that way. Yeah.
Who presided over the wedding?
Yeah, that was my father.
Your father was a preacher.
He was a preacher and a principal and a farmer. He worked 7 days a week, and he made us do the same.
That's great. I gave you a good work ethic there.
It did, and he said nobody ever died from hard work except the people that didn't get rest. So that's why he cut the lights off and go to bed by 8 o'clock.
That's right. Cut the lights out, go to bed, get you a good night's sleep, get up in the morning, and get after it again. Well, I never did meet your daddy. I never did, but he sounds like a great guy. But anyway, people were all excited about your book, Ted. I was telling them about how many copies that you're having to ship out now as a result of being on our show.
That's right. You've been a good advocate, as they say.
Oh, hey, man, if I can't help, it's like me and Charlie was talking about at the beginning of the show. Marvin and Queasel are not on. I don't know if you've missed them or not, but they're not on.
I missed him, and Marvin said he was an enclave.
Yeah, government deal.
Mm-hmm. Where they pick the pope, and then they blow smoke out of a reed.
They blowing smoke all right.
Smoke's being blowed, yeah.
Your smoke is being blowed right now.
It is. He may be in Rome.
Oh, yeah. It ain't in Rome. It's up here in Miller County at the city hall up there. That's where the smoke's being blown. But they blowing it. They've got it. They got the mojo bag. They throwing the dust on one another. Got to go. Charlie, anything you want to ask Brother Ari, our friend Ari, anything you're concerned about with him? Or?
I'm going to get me a copy of the book. I need to read it.
You got to read it. But I'm surprised you hadn't got one.
I'm sitting there thinking about how hard we worked. Just thinking, everybody remembers the first of many things, Mm-hmm. And I was just sitting there while you were talking, thinking about the first time I saw a dishwasher. Mm-hmm. And we went to Atlanta. It was it was in the parsonage. My uncle's wife had received it from the congregation as a gift, and we rode to Atlanta to see her dishwasher, and I was in a state of shock because you had to, in my little 12-year-old opinion, mid-60s. You had to wash them before you put them in the dishwasher.
Yeah. That was the point of a dishwasher. Yeah, you wash the dishes, but
so I thought it was going to be a big robot or something. You know, it was going in as a box built into a cabinet, like say what. And so then the next shot was, I want y'all to see a restaurant. So he rode us over to the airport in there in Hateville, and there was all these yellow arches coming down. It was like the first McDonald's. My daddy said, "What is this?" And my uncle said, "This is McDonald's." And we went up there and ordered, and she said, "That'll be $1.25 or something." And my dad said, "You mean we pay before we eat?"
Your daddy was
yeah, Kermit, you got to pay before you eat. He said, I never heard of that.
no,
Now,
no.
in old poultry, you pay after you eat.
You eat, that's right, and then you pay. You don't pay before. I ain't never heard that before, Teddy. But yeah, hey man, the world was changing. We was right in the middle of it too when the world was changing, going upside down. That's when it started, right there, Teddy.
That's right.
Good point. When you started having to pay for food before you could get it and eat it, that's when the world started changing, right there, bro.
Been going down.
Never thought about it that way.
Did I tell you about my job in food service?
Where yeah, you talked a little bit about it last time. I think we was on there. You worked at the hotel or something in Chicago, Illinois.
It was a scheme at age 15 to get out of agrarian pursuits. I mean, okra, peas, and beans. And so I found an ad in the newspaper for a dishwasher with the Green Frog.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it, and did it in the summer. We did it during the school year, Saturday and Sunday all day. Of course, they picked me up, take me to Sunday school and church 2 hours. But I was from so far out in the country. You know, we didn't get Grand Ole Opry till Monday.
Uh-huh.
But I was from so far out in the country that I didn't know the money on the tables was tips to the waitresses.
You were the bus boy.
I was a bus boy, and I raked that stuff, and man, a quarter shines and grits and eggs. And I'd rake all that stuff off, and that friend with me, man, by 1 o'clock, I had a pocket full of money. He said, "Man, you will get us fired." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "That's their money." I said, "Whose money?" And he said, "The waitresses." I said, "Well, now let's get this straight. What are we making?" He said, "Well, we're making 75 cents an hour." I said, "Well, what are they making?" He said, "They're making $1.25." I said, "Well, there's your answer right there." He said, "I can prove you're going to be fired eventually." I said, "How you going to do that?" He said, "Put your ear." So he took me to a room, put my ear on the wall. And they were having a little meeting in there, and one of them says, "Dr. So-and-so always gives me a quarter and a dime. He didn't give me nothing this morning." And another one says, "Yeah, Mr. So-and-so." They said, "Something's going on. All our tip money ain't coming in. What is happening?" He said, "They're going to link that to you, and you're going to be gone on your first day of your new job." So I had to straighten up.
You know, Teddy, I'm thinking again. You always inspire me to think. It's like when the world started turning upside down when you had to pay for your food before you ate it. This was what you were doing is a prime example of the diversity, equity, and inclusion theory that they got going on now. You was equifying everything.
I was making it my level. That's right.
Yeah,
that's
you were.
Exactly
Yeah,
right.
they doing all the work, and you getting all the money. That's the equity
Let me tell you
deal.
about my weird boss. We had 2 bosses. And had 2 bosses, and the big boss was a guy. And you know what he did? He was odd. You know, all these big people are odd. And he was odd about the way we put the placemats out. He didn't want to pay for them, said it was wasted money. We had to do this and that and arrange the dishes and all. He was very, like micromanager, I guess you call it. You know who that turned out to be?
Go ahead and tell everybody who that guy. Tell them tell them from the Green Frog what transpired.
He was at the Green Frog. He rode down one day. It was for the year I was working. He rode down, he went to his printer. He says, "I think I'll open some seafood in Lake City, Lakeland, Florida, down below us." And then he said, "What do you think I ought to call it?" And the printer said, "Well, you're doing good with Green Frog. Why don't you call it Red Lobster?"
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And his name was Mr. Darden. My boss was Mr. Darden, the founder of Darden Food Group, and he hadn't been dead for about 20 years. He lived to be about 100.
Mm-hmm. He was a Red Lobster and also the Olive Garden guy, wasn't he?
Olive Garden.
That's right.
Come from the Green Frog in Adel, Georgia. So let me tell y'all listening out there, you opportunity is there, but you have to open the door and walk through it.
That's exactly right. You got to work. You know, that's what we don't have now. You know, used to I was thinking we would fight over summer jobs. We wanted a job in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and nowadays they can't even fill them.
You ain't getting nobody. Times have
Hey,
changed. I've Teddy's upside down. Look here, man. I got to cut you loose. Time's running out on us. They charge us about a minute on this show. And we ain't got our
Stay
sponsors.
safe.
We done got them all crossfired with us tonight. I don't know if we're going to have any more sponsorship money from anybody because Marvin ain't here to put the picture
He's
on.
in that
Hissy
current
Fit
wave
folks
folks.
ain't on. We can't give the mug away to our folks with the trivia question. So anyway, now Rojo Phillips said she thought the green frog. Rojo man thought the green frog was in Waycross. Teddy.
That's exactly right. That was his first one. And
Thank you, Rojo.
He lived in Waycross. That's
Uh-huh.
number one.
Mm-hmm.
And then number two was Adele, and then the history
All
was
right.
made. Went
All
to the Red Lobster.
right. So anyway, all right, Rojo, you right and he's right. Both of y'all. Teddy worked for him in Adale, but Waycross was the
That's
number
the
one.
home base. That's right. That's the home.
All right, Teddy, I'm gonna cut you loose, buddy. Good talking to you.
Stay safe.
See you, baby. Bye bye. Hope y'all enjoyed old Ted. He's always an interesting fellow to talk to. What you think about that, Charlie? Red
Just,
Lobster guy.
you got to just seize the moment as that man did. And
Mhm.
from green frog, so he's doing good with that. Let's call it red lobster.
The Red Lobster. That's
Uh,
right.
uh,
Ain't
uh.
that something? He just created it out of nowhere.
You
But
can't make it up,
can't
but
make
he
it up.
did.
Only in America. Hey, only in America. You can't do that in China. You can't do that in Cuba. You
Nope.
can't do that in Haiti. You can't do that nowhere else. Only all of you out there, all you Democrats, y'all ain't Democrats no more. You communists. That's what y'all. I ain't gonna call you a Democrat no more. Uh, you communists. You can't do that in places that y'all love and adore so much and that y'all are so enamored with. You can't do that in Saudi Arabia or in Yemen or in Iran or Afghanistan. You can't do it.
No.
Y'all enamored with them too. So y'all think they're the greatest thing in the world. But y'all, we got to get out of here, man. This time's running out on us. 52. We've been on about 52 minutes. Got about 10, 12 more minutes to go.
Yeah. It's
I tell you
time.
what I'm gonna do.
It's time for the short list. It's time for
It's
the
time for the short list. Time
yeah.
for short list, and Floyd pondering. I'm gonna ponder a little bit
Ponder
tonight. I'm
some.
glad. I'm gonna ponder. I'm glad Queasel and Marvin ain't here, so they won't get any kind of blowback from this. But it's what's on my mind. I ponder. I think about what's on my mind, and all this stuff we're bombarded with mess. We're bombarded with it every day, and one of the main slingers of mess is our president, Joe Biden. He is as worthless a human being as I have ever seen in my life, as I have ever heard talk. Because the words are not his. Y'all got to understand that. Please understand, and y'all know that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. The words are not his. Uh, they, 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 they're, they're put on a screen for him to read. He can barely read it, but they put on the screen. He was at a historically black college the other day, and here's what he told those students that were in there getting an education. They get any kind of education. They're at a college in the United States of America, get any kind of education, any kind of degree that they pursue. He's telling them that the biggest terroristic threat that America faces is white supremacy. Our Defense Secretary, Lloyd Austin, a black man, the Department of Secretary of Defense, the highest ranking military official in the United States, he says the same thing. We got to get the armed forces cleaned up of white supremacy. Kamala Harris, she says the same thing. Hillary Clinton, they all parrot the same thing, white supremacy. And you know who white supremacists are? People like me and Charlie. That's who they pinpoint. You know, and I'm white. I was born white. God created me to be white. White people got problems too. Let me tell you, white people got problems too. It ain't all fun and games. But you know, sometimes you have enough. Sometimes you get overwhelmed with people calling you names and defining you as to who you are and as to who you are the opposite of. I've been here for 76 years. I've got friends all over this country. I do not know one white supremacist in my life. I've never met one that I was friends with. I'm sure there's probably some out there, just like any other race has other races that they despise and don't want to be around. I'm sure there's some. But we're not all white supremacists. I know probably as many black people as anybody in this county can know. I know them. There's not one of them, I promise you, that thinks I'm a white supremacist. I'm here. I'm just a poor country boy. I'm just a poor white country boy trying to make a living, trying to survive, trying to do what's right, trying to obey the law, trying to pay my taxes, going to church, worshiping God. There ain't a white supremacist in my church. Ain't nobody. I've never seen one. I've never seen a cross burning in anybody's yard. I'm from the deep South. But I want y'all to kind of condense that, if you will, what they're doing, what the Democrat Party, the Communist Democrat Party are doing. They're trying to separate us. They're trying to have us enemies at each other's head and each other's throat. They're making us be enemies, and that's not the way it is. That's not the God that I worship. That's not who we are. So y'all just please, when y'all hear that word white supremacist, cringe, because they're not defining you. They're covering something up. It's like Charlie said a little bit earlier. It's all a smoke screen. We want to divert your attention over here to this, because this is going on over here that we don't want you to know nothing about. So we're going to get over here and we're going to have a sideshow over here. I don't trust them. They're nothing in my book. They are destroying this great country that white people and black people have worked so hard to try to advance themselves and become a part of. And they want us at one another's throats. And I'm gonna tell you, it's enough is enough. All right, that's my pondering. Here we're gonna go with the short list, Floyd short list. I had some time this week to do this to focus on the short list. Americans that are migrating to Haiti, Zimbabwe, Venezuela, Cuba, and Chicago. How many people y'all know? Oh, I can't wait to move to Chicago, man. I'm gonna have it made in Chicago. Can't wait to move to Zimbabwe, where you can take a wheelbarrow full of money. You can have $1 million. Everybody's a millionaire in Zimbabwe. You know what $1 million buy you in Zimbabwe? A loaf of bread. Communism. In America, hey, y'all call me. I have my number right there, 229-254-2727. Call me. Tell me who's migrating, who's going to Venezuela, Cuba, Zimbabwe, Chicago. They're getting out fast as they can. They want Pentecostal preachers and Baptist preachers that can ride a unicycle. Picture that in your mind. You don't see Marvin and Reverend on a unicycle.
Yeah.
People who are more destructive to race relations and disruptive to law and order than Al Sharpton. Number of illegal aliens that are tested for COVID, smallpox, sexually transmitted diseases, tuberculosis, flu, scabies, and criminal background checks. Give me the names. Y'all tell me how many of them have been vetted. How many when they're coming in by the hundreds of thousands. Here's another thing. Y'all my TV, I hate my TV jumps around on me. Me and they need to be trying to watching something and it'll jump. It'll, to ancient aliens. Ancient aliens of all things. It used to jump to Gunsmoke, but it quit. Now it's jumping to ancient aliens. It's automatic ancient aliens. And here's what I have observed. Beneficial things to be learned from watching ancient aliens. Anybody learn anything from watching them? Anybody learn anything that's going to help you in your life? Here's one I like is here. Democrats that Donald Trump is scared of.
That's a short list.
That's a short list.
Short.
Democrats Donald Trump is scared of. last but not least, including his bladder and his bowels, things that Joe Biden has any control over.
Good
Charlie, I'm
job.
done.
Well, let me say this to go along with what you're talking about. Everybody talking the same thing. In a related, unrelated situation, the squad in the last 24, 48 hours, right after that was said by Biden this weekend, they're demanding $14 trillion in reparations. Now, you see, all of it fits together, and it's sickening. It really is. We appreciate y'all tuning us in on Thursday night. Uh, we I ain't gonna say we missed the government employees. I mean, kind of threw us out there in the middle of nowhere with nowhere to go. But we done it. You know,
Hey, we struggled through.
government employees. Y'all
Yeah.
be careful. We got a holiday coming up, Memorial Day. For those who watch this program, we'll talk about that next week. But let's all remember what is coming up and what the holiday is supposed to be: reflection, remembering. And we'll talk more about that next Thursday night. Pray for this nation. Pray for one another, because that's the only solution to our problem. Floyd.
Amen, Charlie. Amen, man. Pray for us. Stay on your knees in prayer. Give thanks to the good Lord. And ask Him to heal this country. Only He can do it. He can do it. He's done bigger things before. He can do it. But anyway, exercise your Second Amendment rights. Always, always exercise your Second Amendment rights. Everywhere you go, be prepared to defend yourself and your family. Be vigilant of your surroundings. Watch what is going on around you. Watch and listen. Get your head out of that cell phone and be aware of what's happening around you. Put your cell phone down for just a few minutes and you'll be okay. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Y'all know what that means. Surround yourself with like-minded people. And tonight, when you lay down and get in your bed and get stretched out and get comfortable with the air conditioner running on the good clean sheets, on the good bed that the good Lord has provided for you, give thanks to it for everything that He's done for you today. Give thanks to Him, start thanking Him, and you'll be asleep and you'll still be thanking Him. Marvin, we done.
Well, hey, I'm sorry that Queasel and I have been in a conclave meeting, but I appreciate Floyd and Charlie for picking up the slack that he and I produced tonight. I know the show was great. I might even go back and watch it before I go to bed.
You don't have to.
It wasn't that good. It wasn't that good.
No, it wasn't that good.
Hey, guys,
No,
we love y'all. Thank you for joining us tonight. Lord willing, the Creek Don't Rise going to be right back here, same place, same time next week. Sunday's coming. Don't forget to go to church. It's important. But always, whatever you do in life, don't ever forget this. No matter where you are or what you're doing, always be particular. We love you guys.
Good night.
Good night, y'all.